applications and through our individual lives promote the values of Christianity without the going overboard and pushing ourselves into a system where we start saying, let's just shame all the Coomers because that's the only way they're going to stop doing the porn.
I guess then if Christian anarchism just means all societies which exist, I don't even know where to go with the argument, honestly. Like if there's no delineation between this and any other society, then I don't even fucking understand it. I don't even understand what you're advocating.
Because I think you're looking purely for an ideological system. I think you're trying to advocate, and I know you've said this in the past that is mainly
this is not an ideological system.
No, I'm saying it's not a wholesale ideological system. It is a very individualistic idea based on philosophies of how we cooperate, how we start from the bottom up, how we talk about things, how we fix issues with the understanding. And that's the problem. I will agree is, and that's my point. Yes, in a system, if any world system, any government system, you're going to need force of law to be able to ensure its.
So okay, so let me try it this way.
But if we
hypothetically
governments and authoritarian governments do exist, and as a result, what is the stopgap for that?
If we hypothetically,
what would cause us to be if we adopted a system?
Hang on. Let me ask a question. Maybe this will help.
What would stop that from going into a system where we become a Christian authoritarian state? Because at that point,
what would be a problem if we? What would be a problem if we were
being Christian if it was authoritarian?
Why?
Because authoritarianism is anathema to Christianity.
Bullshit. Prove it.
No. Christ himself tells us these things. We know that Christ tells us that blessed are the meek who inherit the earth. We know that Christ tells us.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
What does it mean? It means that people who are humble, people who seek after the Lord first, no matter what happens on earth, they will inherit.
Does that mean that they can't have authority?
It means you have to be careful because blessed are the peacemakers.
Be careful doesn't tell me anything. Does it mean you can't have authority because you're humble?
It means that you have to have the ultimate authority, which is trust in Christ.
Yeah, I get that. But can you have no earthly authority and be humble? I don't get that. Why can't you?
Is the more centralized authority you get, the more you have to impose force.
No, you don't.
Yes,
the less force you have to impose.
No.
Yes. Do you think? Okay. Here, let's prove it. Let's prove it. Let's prove it. I can prove it to you right now. Somalia right now. Okay. Lots of force going on. Not a lot of law. Here in the United States, a whole lot of law. Not a lot of force going on. Right. Really weird though, because there we have kind of a more anarcho style system. Here we have more of an authoritarian style system. Super weird. I thought that you just got done telling me that it should be reversed, that wherever this anarchy system is, where there's no central authority, there should be less of this type of violence, right? Less force.
I didn't make that equation.
Yes, you did. You said centralizing authority leads to more force.
Centralizing authority you get, the more in order to get that power, the more you have to use force. Now, that does not necessarily mean by violence.
Prove it.
It means by coercion. It could mean by using the
like laws. Are laws coercion? Are laws coercion?
Law has to use coercion.
Well, then, So then coercion's not even bad by this definition. Unless you're saying, so then laws are bad.
I'm saying laws can be bad. Yes, they
can. The can be is not answering the question. I didn't ask you if they can be bad. I asked you if they are inherently bad or not.
Laws are not inherently bad.
But they are inherently coercive. So therefore, coercion's not inherently bad.
They are. The more
so
higher
so let me help you out here. So let me help you out here with your position. Okay. So if laws are not inherently bad and all laws use coercion, then you have to be saying that coercion's not inherently bad.
No, I'm saying that.
No. Repeat my argument. Repeat my argument to me. Repeat it.
You said if laws depend on coercion, and laws themselves aren't bad, then you're saying that coercion can't itself be bad by the logic of what I'm saying.
That's and can you give me a rebuttal to that? That actually deals with the logic. If A then B, if B then C.
Because what I'm saying, and maybe I misspoke, so let me get back and recorrect what I'm saying. Laws that are that require more coercion, that would require more authority, it would require more force. Those laws, the more that centralization goes up, the more that power requires up, the more that becomes a problem. The jail itself is another problem and another system of a faulty system of how we deal with law and how we deal with crime and punishment.
Okay, but if you would endorse a law tomorrow using this kind of coercion in order to stop this fucking horrific thing from happening, right? Then how is this an advocacy for the system of Christian anarchy, which by your definition proposes instead no such law be made, and rather you just try to use some type of argumentation to convince people out of it?
Because what I'm arguing for is an understanding that Christians have to endure and acknowledge that the world cannot be perfect. It will not be perfect for whatever reason.
Nobody's saying it's. They don't say that, dude.
I know, but that's the problem, is that this is the threat that happens when we say, well, if we could just do this and we could just make this magic little thing happen, everything would be all better off by tomorrow. There are lots of things that cause the problems that we have.
You know, the thing is that this is kind of silly too, right? So if you can't pay your rent, for instance, and somebody assists you in paying your rent, that definitely makes the problem of you not being able to pay your rent that month go away, right?
No.
If you can't pay your rent and somebody pays your rent that month, the problem of you paying your rent that month went away, right?
It would, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was trying to understand what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So there are immediate things which you can do very quickly for all sorts of different issues in order to solve those problems quickly. That doesn't mean that it's a utopia or that in every single case it's going to be perfect, right? But you can still have something that's way better. Way, way, way better. Just like a law which is coercive. Now, you just got done saying, for instance, you don't like the idea of jail, right?
That's what I said. I said I don't like the idea of how jail is right now.
Well, what should jail be?
I think that jail should be where people who are dangerous, people who are a danger to society should be.
Jail should be what?
A place for violent offenders who are a threat to society.
And that's it.
Yeah, I think there's other ways you can reform and punish people without going to a correctional facility like that.
What if they sell drugs to little kids?
Well, that right there is a danger to society.
Yeah, but you said violent.
Well, there's a lot of violence in drugs.
Yeah, but you yourself are not committing a violent act by selling drugs.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that there are situations where putting someone in prison because they're a threat to society or because they're a violent criminal is justifiable.
You mean like what we do right now?
Yes.
Okay. So then there's no. So I don't even understand. What's your issue with prison or jail?
The issue is how we go about looking at, because with jail we have a lot of people who are put in jail who are non-violent offenders who then become violent, or they
you mean like they stole grandma's
and other types of
criminals. Oh, you mean like they stole grandma's retirement money?
Well, I mean, obviously they did something to put them in that situation.
So what the fuck is wrong with sending them to jail?
What I'm saying, and again, it goes back to whether
that sounds like everybody who's going to jail is a threat to society if they're breaking the laws, right?
Understanding what laws they broke and why they broke the laws, I think it matters.
Yeah, maybe that matters at a kind of a foundational level, trying to understand it so that you can solve more, so that they do this less, right? But there's still going to be tons of people who just break the law, and you send their ass to jail, right? That's what you do with them.
Yeah,
that's it. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess. Since I think what you mean when you say Christian anarchism is just status quo plus evangelism. That's all it really sounds like to me. Status quo plus evangelism.
I understand that's why what I'm saying is I'm arguing for us as Christians to think about how we deal with the issue of societal change without focusing and putting too much emphasis, because we have to be careful when we're talking about societal change, because there are things that are more important than politics. There are things that are more important than ideological positions. There's more things. And we also know that in all things that are happening, no matter what happens, we have to have ultimate trust in God. We have to put trust in God. And sometimes when we try to solve some of our problems through a system of government, through a system of regulations, where we're trying to then ourselves fix the problem, we can sometimes make worse problems. We a lot of times can also
and
put
now,
less focus on
unfortunately,
things.
John, right? I've been charitable, but now I really do understand this position pretty well now that we've been going through it. So now I'm going to unfortunately have to end this position very quickly for you. It's going to be a bad look for you, but it needs to be done. John, you have a magic wand in your hand tomorrow that you can wave, and any laws you want come into fruition, and any laws you want change, and any government change that you want happens immediately. Any of those things happen at a legislative level immediately. Which ones do you do?
I don't even know where to start on that.
Yeah, none. You couldn't name a one, could you? Not a one.
Of a law that I'd want changed?
Any laws or any government change or anything. You couldn't name anything, could you?
Well,
can you give us a single prescription, John? A single one?
The reason is because I do not believe that what ails the world is not going to be by trying to fix the world, but by fixing the individual.
So you wouldn't do anything with the wand? Where do I go to see the full catalog? I've heard you say before, but can't remember. You go to thecrucible.video. Thecrucible.video, become a member over there. $15 a month, it's nothing.